Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Who Doesn't Have a Podcast with me, Daniel Allen, and soon to be hanging himself, Michael J. Priestley. Say hello, Mike.
Hi, everyone. We've been recording this for an hour. Well, no, we haven't been recording this for an hour. We've been doing this for an hour and not recording it for an hour.
Can I just check before we say anything else? I've got a microphone. We made a load of funny jokes on the microphone. That's gone.
It's all gone.
What? It's all gone. It's all gone. Have we recorded any of this?
No.
Oh. Right, I'll tell you what we will do. So what we can do, we can mask this. We can. It's unplanned. It's unprepared.
Let's do a quick recap. Right. We started off today's podcast by talking about. We did a quiz. You won.
Do you want to run through that quiz again? Well, that's what. It's a dramatic reconstruction.
All right. Dan, did this happen? The reason Osgood, Kate Lethbridge-Stewart's stalwart sidekick, hasn't been seen since Series 9 two-parter The Zygon Invasion / The Zygon Inversion is because the actress, Ingrid Oliver, hated Jodie Whittaker in real life. Their real-life spat began years before on an episode of Celebrity Pointless, where Whittaker took the piss out of her for getting a question about Doctor Who wrong. Dan, did this happen? The twist at the end of Class, the twist at the end of Class, the Peter Capaldi era spin-off series is that all of the main characters are Time Lords, where conversely, the twist at the end of this podcast is that I haven't been recording the entire time. Or Dan, did this happen? Stephen Moffat wanted to create a spin-off about Jenny Flint and Madame Astra, the Silurian, set in Victoria-era London. They'd go about solving crimes, getting into scrapes, and probably occasionally mentioning the Doctor. Which one of those happened, Dan?
Okay, well, I think that it would be a really ridiculous thing to fall out over a Doctor Who joke during an episode of Pointless.
Pointless, yeah. Pointless. Celebrity Pointless.
Celebrity Pointless. The second one, I don't believe. And the third one, I think I've heard about before. And not just because we mentioned it 45 minutes ago in an unrecorded part of this podcast, but also because I genuinely had. So, Michael, do you want to do it? I made a point. I've got a plug-in mic, so I always like emphasize the point with the mic. So, do you want me to do a drum roll?
Do a drum roll, mate. Do a drum roll into the mic. It's time that happened this podcast. It is. Stephen Moffat wanted to create a spin-off about Jenny Flint and Madame Astra to Silurian.
Yes!
Wow, Dan, you've bloody done it. You've only gone and bloody done it. All right, let's quickly move on. The next thing that we discussed was...
So it's just to record this so we don't forget in the future, it is now Dan 2, Mike and Jerome 0.
Correctamundo. So if you're just tuning in, as a reminder, I had forgotten to press record for the entire first hour that we've been doing this podcast. So what we're now doing is quickly recapping everything that we talked about. The second thing is we discussed the war between the land and the sea, which is the spin-off they just announced at Comic-Con. It sounds amazing. We think it's going to be great. I'm hoping Matt Smith is going to appear in it. Did we say anything else about it?
Oh, yeah. We had a little game of who played who in Old Who, because they were both in Doctor Who. So Russell Tovey played, oh God, I've forgotten his name, Alonso. He played Alonso in The Voyage of the Damned, which is an amazing Christmas episode, which to this day, fun fact, because we mentioned it before, because we said it and we thought it was good to mention the podcast. We're going to say it again because we've got to hit record. Well, Mike did because he's a prat. That's
Dan also the highest viewed ever. That it wasn't recording. I say, it does say recording in 3, 2, 1. And you didn't pipe up, did you? Sorry, I'm getting defensive because I feel embarrassed.
It's all right. It's just passive aggression. It's okay. I'll absorb that anger. I'm an impact cushion of love.
There's nothing passive about it.
Got this microphone. Everything can be passive.
What else did you say? Is that microphone for David Tennant is Doctor Who? Do that again.
Oh yes, okay. So we also mentioned, that was it. Well remembered. So we also remembered. We also mentioned we heard that Matt Smith would make a reappearance in this new spin-off of Doctor Who, and not David Tennant, because I've sort of joked that he's like the defibrillator of the series. So if it goes to die, they just smash the glass and pull out David Tennant. And I made the joke about Wolverine that he'll be doing it to his 90. Ha 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 ha. And then I said kind of turn on all the Whovians to go a bit down the ASMR route because we did a few ASMR bits. I said that David Tennant is a Doctor Who slut.
That's going to pop off on TikTok. It's going to pop off. I think it's also worth, at this point in the recap, mentioning that the content that we'd created in the first hour of this record was the best podcast content the internet has ever heard, right?
I think that the word groundbreaking is thrown around a lot these days, but yeah, we were punching through concrete. It was we were on fire.
It was some good stuff.
Outstanding. But as what we did then as a form of sort of side note, if you like, which funnily enough helped us realise in a roundabout kind of way that we were just talking to ourselves and not you guys. Which, to be fair, even when we put these episodes out, is exactly the same. We also mentioned the situation with the first series of Doctor Who, and again the fact that will people look back upon this first season of Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor and of Russell T Davies coming back and look at it with the same love and admiration that we had for the original revival of Russell T Davies back in 2005 with Christopher Eccleston. And then we thought it would be funny to see if... Oh, that was it, because we also mentioned the Land and the Sea, because it's only going to be 5 episodes long, not 6. Don't ever confuse it with 6. Don't you dare confuse it with 6.
Yes.
You confuse it with 6. I'm going to block you. I'm going to block you so hard. Anyway, we said that it would be good because Rusty Davis will be kind of like trimming the fat, and it'll just be like really good content for the show and everything like that. And then we all said, of the 8 episodes that we've seen, obviously it was a bit of a strange run of the first 2 or 3 episodes, if you include the Christmas special to begin with. And then we sort of said, well, why don't we compare it to the first ever Rusty T Davies, the revival, just to see if there were any good episodes that came along that we didn't realise. So we've started with the first episode, which was Rose.
Yeah.
And we absolutely loved it, didn't we?
Smashing episode.
Iconic episode. And fun fact, I think it had 10.8 million viewers on the first. Obviously, the TV landscape's completely different these days as how it was back then. A lot of people tuned in and watched it. People really loved it. And then we turned it into a bit of a game, which is only going to be a game in about 3 minutes' time once we've got through these. Because we then were trying to work out what the next episode was, which was The End of the World, which actually was the first time we saw Lady Cassandra in the episode. It was also the first episode of the series to include the mention of the phrase bad wolf, which is a recurring arc throughout the first series that would set up the events of the finale. Did we mention anything else about... Oh, the voice of Bo. Not face of Bo, sorry.
The face of Bo, the voice of Bo. The voice of Bo is the audio-only version of the face of Bo.
That's the ASMR version.
Yes. Yeah. So technically the first appearance of Captain Jack Harkness.
Yes, absolutely. Episode 3 was, Mike?
The Unquiet Dead.
The Unquiet Dead, which I remember
Dan was
so
saying
well.
about the structured storytelling, the world building, because you've got Eve Miles playing who?
She played Gwyneth.
And we later find out that she's related to Gwen, played by the same actor. So we were just talking about this really good atmospheric episode of Doctor Who. Yeah, very scary, very good. We then moved on to...
Oh, and then we also mentioned as well, there was a second mention of Bad Wolf, because Gwyneth, when she holds on to Rose, sees 2005 through her, and then says, the things you've seen, the darkness, the big bad wolf. And it was amazing.
She then... Oh, God, Dan, I just remembered. She then also says she sees forward to 2024, us recording this podcast and me not pressing play for an hour into recording it. Do you remember she says that as well?
And she goes, the darkness, there's the lack of sound, you fucking idiots, you shit.
It was really out of character for Doctor Who for someone to just swear directly into the camera screen, but she does it. She goes, you fucking idiot, Mike.
It was a deleted scene, and it was the first of a fourth wall break of the show. It was quite amazing. Episode number 4 was the first ever part 1 of a 2-parter in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And that episode was... Are you kidding me?
It was called The Invasion of... It was called Alien Invasion of London.
You got 3... Wait, Aliens of London, I'll give you that.
Okay.
You got that.
Of course,
that was... Oh, didn't read this bit before. The episode is set in London a year after the 2005 episode Rose.
Yes, because she comes back and her family are fuming.
Yeah, because she's been gone for a year because she's been
Like,
watching the end of the world
they're like,
kick off, and
they're like,
then all the
where have you
girls.
been, bitch? Where have you been, bitch?
And then there was a lot of happy slapping in that episode as well, wasn't there? A lot of little
Lots of
Nokias,
happy slapping. Yeah,
a lot of Snake too.
that's Russell T
Um,
Davis's charm. He always writes about the time that he's in. So lots of happy slapping. Lots of
Do you remember that
Nokias.
character that was called Mr. Asbo? And he just kept getting Asbos all the time. It's like, oi, what am I like? I'm Mr. Asbo, but you can call me Rick.
Again, one of the classic peripheral Doctor Who characters, Mr. Asbo, whatever happened to
Hey,
him.
if you're a modern fan, I'm sorry, you missed out on one. You missed out on the best. You really did. In that one, so as a quick summary, that was when the alien crime family, the Slovene, fake a spaceship crash landing into the River Thames, putting the Earth on high alert.
We're
They used
also
a
first
spaceship crash to
introduced
kind of
to Tosh from Torchwood.
Tosh from Torchwood makes their first appearance, which we also mentioned that we only find out in canon in Torchwood. At which point, Mike?
The series 2 finale of Torchwood. She says, "Oh, I remember when I first met you," or something. There was a little pig alien running around. Lovely
Beautiful.
writing.
And then I said it was one of the most emotional bits of Doctor Who folklore I've ever experienced.
Yep.
Until tonight, when I realised we've been talking for an hour, hadn't recorded a fucking thing.
No one
and
gets
also
paid for
we
this.
played a game.
No one
We
gets
also played a
paid
quick
for
game.
this. I was just saying, no one gets paid for this, so we were just talking for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, we are friends as well, but you know.
I mean, we're friends, but we'd be talking about something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't be talking about this shit.
I introduced a podcast that wasn't recording. I wouldn't just do that in conversation, would I? Our conversations don't just start with me going, "Hello, everybody, it's Michael Free."
We also mentioned as well, Bad Wolf is mentioned again in this episode. Where was it mentioned?
It's spray painted onto the side of the TARDIS
By
some random,
by
probably Mr. Asbo.
Mr. Asbo, yeah, of course, also known as the unnamed child.
Give a shit.
Oh, Jimmy V. He played the space pig in this one.
Oh.
Fun fact for you there. Right, next episode, part 2 of this two-parter was called
The World War III.
World War III. And obviously we see other people in there as well.
Yeah.
Was there a fun fact with this one? I feel like there was. Oh, yeah, apparently it was going to be called Aliens of London Part 2 up until the last minute, and then it became World War III for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And people were indifferent to it. Next episode.
Dalek.
The Dalek, yes. And it was set in Utah in which year?
2012.
Absolutely. You've got a little bit... Oh, no, it's not. It's just me. Sorry, ignore me. So again, Henry Van Statten, remember him? He was a collector of alien artifacts. Anyway, Rose Tyler, Dalek gets loose, all kicks off. And a fun fact with this one, they started filming the episode at the National Museum in Cardiff, but then most of the episode was shot at the Millennium Stadium. Hence a lot of corridors and running around. And Media Watch, a watchdog organisation, complained about certain episodes of the episode, characterising Van Statten's chaining an invasive scan of the Doctor as Sado as part of a torture scene, and objected to his invitation to Adam and Rose to canoodle or spoon, or whatever you British do, as inappropriate sexual language. And it was so controversial at the time, this was 2005, by the way, that when it was released on DVD, the British Board of Film Classification gave Doctor Who episode Dalek a 12 because of the scenes where the Doctor is torturing the Dalek. And I've only just seen this bit as well, as an added bonus. This is an official quote now from the British Board of Film Classifications. Every TV show, film that comes out in the UK, this is the board it runs through. We are concerned about role models for children using the sort of tactics that Doctor Who used against the Dalek. If it gets better, bearing in mind he was chained up, the Dalek was chained up, right? It was like electrocuted. If that was transferred into the playground, it would be something we would want to tackle. Trust me. If I mean, different times, man. Different times. Right. So now we're all caught up, and that took us. When did we start?
So was it at this point that I said to you, Dan, I think we haven't been recording?
And what you can do here as a fun fact is that you can then rewind back to the beginning and it will basically be like a never-ending loop.
Timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey.
Right, okay, so next
So,
episode.
now we're caught
after,
up.
I'm pretty sure the next episode after Dalek, and let's speed through these. I'm pretty sure the
Yeah.
next episode after Dalek is it the one? Is it the the Empty Child?
The what, sorry?
No? The Empty Child?
No.
I'm gonna guess again. I'm gonna guess again. Father's Day.
No.
No, it's The Long Game.
Absolutely correct. But, and I completely forgot about this episode, this was the one with Simon Pegg.
Yeah, Simon Pegg was in it.
So Simon Pegg Simon Pegg played the character of the editor.
Yes. Yeah.
They land on Satellite 5, space station that broadcasts news across the entire human empire. They go to the floor 500, where all the people disappear, and it turns out that the Doctor and Rose discover that the editor of Simon Pegg and an alien are controlling the rest of humanity by way of the press. It was originally submitted by Davies to the Doctor Who script office in the 1980s.
Oh.
There you go. It had also been Davies had also been interested in doing a storyline about a failed companion. In addition, critics have pointed out the story is a satire on the media. Which, where else have we seen that from Russell T Davies?
He loves it, doesn't he? He loves the satire.
Loves that shit.
Okay, Dan. Next episode the next episode The Empty Child?
Is the what?
The Empty Child.
No, it's Father's Day.
What?
You call yourself a fan, but we see her father Pete. She sees her father Pete back in 19.
Yeah.
Is this the one in the church?
Yeah, really scary, really good.
Bloody hell, yes. Right.
Yeah.
So we were talking about 5-10 minutes ago. If you have just joined us, why are you fast forwarding to this point? Weirdo. And secondly, the episode one of Doctor Who, obviously, yes, there are certain bits that stand out more than others. But I don't know about you, but I don't think up until this point we've had a dud episode in the 2005 series.
Well, I'd say The End of the World is a dud. Sorry, I'm just walking to my baked potato off in the oven. I think The End of the World is a bad episode. Not a bad episode, just not a good one.
Right, I get you. Okay. So yeah, we see again a whole lot of fantastic actors here. It was one of the highest rated episodes of the series. Praised the focus on character and emotion, and it was actually nominated for the 2006 Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation Short Form. So it was up there with like short films and everything else, which is brilliant.
That is brilliant. Yeah, classic, brilliant episode of Doctor Who, Father's Day.
And a fun fact as well. The Lamb and Flag, which is a pub from the sitcom Bottom, is also referenced in the episode. And there's also a mention, and I didn't remember this, but there's also a clip of the 2002 song Don't Mug Yourself by The Streets, indicating the damage to the timeline.
Ah.
Rose believes Pete to be a bit of the Del Boy, referring to the character from 1980s comedy Oldie Fools and Horses. And again, there's mentions of the song Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley and the Communards cover of the 1971 song Never Can Say Goodbye, also featured in the episode. So this is where like those hints of music are really like thrown in there as well. But yeah, a wicked, loved that episode. Absolutely brilliant episode.
So after that is The Empty Child, right?
Then we've got The Empty Child, absolutely correct. Now this one was the first official episode written by Stephen Moffat.
And a fantastic one at that. You remember this one, Dan? Where is my mummy? Are you my mummy?
Yes.
The
now,
gas mask child.
I remember this to be a hell of a lot earlier in the series. I didn't remember this to be as late on as this one is. Oh, actually, no. We've got to apologise here, Mike.
I never apologise.
Well, I'll apologise on your behalf. This was the first appearance of Captain Jack.
Yes, it is. Sorry, no, Dan, no. The first appearance of Captain Jack is The End of the World. Because Captain Jack is the face of Bo.
Spoilers. Nice.
Well, I mean, the series is
do you remember?
Now. If you haven't seen it by
now. Richard Wilson, who I take my hat off to, I absolutely love him. He plays Dr. Constantine in this. Absolutely incredible. Fun fact as well, in the previous episode, it was nominated for a Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation. This episode actually won it. So Doctor Who was nominated for 2 episodes.
Wow.
What? and this actually beat the other episode.
That you need episodes like this in your first series of Doctor Who to really propel Doctor Who to where it needs to be in the cultural conversation. And I do think we can have this conversation another time, but I do think there are a few episodes in this most recent series of Doctor Who which have that same. I'm immediately thinking 73 Yards is going to be remembered as an instant classic, as is, I think, the I can't remember what it's called, the one when they're all in the bubble, because of the ending alone. I think the ending makes that whole episode incredible. But yeah, sorry, that was a sidebar.
The ending of that one reminds me a bit of Countryside in Torchwood.
Yes.
Because it's all a bit weird until the very final line, and it kind of cuts through you really deep, and that kind of horrified, tears streaming down the face thing. Oh, okay. Actually, no, take it back. So this was another two-parter.
It is, yeah,
series.
it is.
Part 2 of this was?
So we had The Empty Child, and we had the Doctor Dances.
The Doctor Dances, yes. So
Famously,
the homeless
Dan,
woman Nancy joins the investigative spaceship, which crashed the same time patients at a nearby hospital began turning to living dead beings with gas masks for faces.
and
This
famously,
also co-won that award as well.
Yeah, well, Stephen Moffat. This is famously the one where the Doctor doesn't lose anybody. Everybody lives in this episode, Dan.
You are absolutely correct. Everyone survives. Is there any other fun little facts in here as well?
Shit.
Here's a fun fact.
Shit, no, damn shit.
What?
Remember when I switched devices?
Yeah. I've got it recording here.
I'm only joking. I was trying to get you. I was trying to.
Knobhead. 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 Mike's a knobhead. Right, before you fuck me off anymore, the climactic. I bet you didn't know this because this is it. Now, here's a fun Who trivia fact for your faces. This is where we're going to start winning awards. The climactic scene of the episode. Can you still hear this? Am I being really loud?
No. It's a nice pitch.
I'm gonna. It's blue, so it kind of links into the TARDIS.
Ooh la la, TARDIS blue.
Oh,
Has Sutek been wrapped around that microphone since the 70s?
a climactic scene of the episode at the alien crash site was filmed. Several scenes of the story were filmed at the Vale of Glamorgan railway site at Plymouth Road on Barry Island. So Gavin and Stacey and Doctor Who are interlinked with one another. There you go.
Very nice.
The next episode, Mike. This is episode 11 of the 13 episode series of the first series. Was what?
Okay, so we're at the end now. So I know exactly what you mean about not realizing that these episodes were so late in the day. So I think we are now looking at, is it called Boom Town or Boom?
You are absolutely correct. Yes. So interestingly, do you remember where Aliens in London was set a year after Rose?
Yeah.
This episode is set in Cardiff in the early 21st century, 6 months after World War III.
Yes, because you've got that Silurian character in it. What's her name?
Can you remember the Slitherian character's name?
Don't laugh. Is it something like Marjorie or something like that?
Margaret.
It's close. I knew I was close.
Margaret, well done. Yes. She sits down for dinner with the Doctor and attempts to gain her freedom after being captured and detained by him. Apparently, Rusty Davies decides to write a different story. So there was going to be a different episode. It was a replacement episode, this, for a story that had to be written, or was to be written by Paul Abbott, and had to abandon because he had other commitments. So Russell Davies at the last minute decides to write a different story centered on bringing Badland's character, or Annette Badland, who played Margaret, back from the 4th and 5th episodes of the series, as he had enjoyed her performances.
Very good.
Which is incredible.
Of course, we've got Captain Jack in this episode, carrying over from the two-parter beforehand.
Yeah. So the episode was also intended to showcase Cardiff, where the revived Doctor Who series is made and where the episode was filmed. This one received mixed reviews, for some very bizarre reason, but there's a continuity thing here. Fun fact for the Whovians out there. The rift was established earlier in the series in The Unquiet Dead. Margaret says that as a child, she was threatened with being fed to venom grubs. These creatures appeared in the first Doctor serial, The Web Planet.
Very nice.
So we've got a bit of
And of
throwback all
course,
over the shop there.
Cardiff Bay, where they all are, of course, becomes the base for Torchwood. So there's that.
So yeah, there we.
So now I'm going to try doing the 2-part finale in one go. So the first part is
Was.
called. First part is called
I'm going to turn a light on.
Bollocks. I don't know if I know this.
Oh, come
Right,
on,
I
Mike.
think I know the last part. Right, tell me, is the last part the parting of the ways? No.
The final
No.
episode is the parting of the ways.
Okay, yeah.
What
Final episode.
is?
Yeah, what's the first bit?
Would you like a clue? And I'm telling you now, the minute I tell you this, you will never ever forget what this episode is called.
It's called Bad Wolf, isn't it?
Bad Wolf.
It's called Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways.
And why was this episode particularly memorable?
Well, for lots of reasons, but isn't this the one where they do that Weakest Link parody? Is that what you were
Yes.
thinking about?
So, am I right in thinking, was Satellite 5 the episode with Simon Pegg?
Simon Pegg. Yeah, so I think this is set far off in the future from that episode.
So this is also set on Satellite 5.
Yeah.
They're secretly brought on board the game show broadcasting satellite by its controller, so they can fight against the controller's masters, the Daleks.
Yeah.
So again, we had a few, and you could tell this is a real show of its time because you had the mock versions of Trini and Susanna, Anne Robinson, who actually voiced the voice of Android. Her literal name was Android. Fantastic. Patterson Joseph, who we know out of Peep Show and
Yes.
a few of the bits of Shakespeare stuff. Davina McCall, obviously they sampled Big Brother in there as well. Any other
Doesn't Davina
artists?
McCall appear again, literally, in the Christmas episode last year? Yeah, she's in that
Yes,
as
she
herself.
did. So again, Russell T Davies bringing back his favourites in
Yeah.
the future. Any fun? Oh, okay. A working title for the game or for the episode was going to be called Game Show World, and the
Sorry, for the first part instead of Bad Wolf, that makes me think how funny it would be if the series 1 arc wasn't Bad Wolf, it was just Game Show World. like that guy had just been like spray painted the words Game Show World, and then Russell Davies goes, "Ooh, it's all linked. You see, Game Show."
Asbo. Have you mentioned Mr. Asbo?
We did mention Mr. Asbo, yeah.
All right. Have you mentioned it this time or not?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Oh, we have. All right, wicked.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Mr. Asbo came about after started recording again.
Yeah, his full name really is Michael Asbo Priestley.
Michael has got an Asbo. Yeah.
Okay, so some fun facts. So the concept of the android and the futuristic version of the Weakest Link was pitched by Russell T Davies in his second ever meeting with the BBC about bringing back Doctor Who in 2000 or 2001.
Okay.
It had come off the back of a trip to New York to promote his other series, Queer as Folk, where he'd seen a vast screen in Times Square with a gigantic Anne Robinson blasting us tiny mortals with her voice. The screen was obviously promoting the American version of the Weakest Link that she'd gone over to perform. So even back in 2001, this is the second ever pitch for the reboot involved this android. And the production team originally intended to show Jack's naked bum on screen.
Yeah.
The scene was shot. Get this right. So they actually filmed this. So there is footage of his actual bottom, but the BBC's editorial policy department stepped in and vetoed it. The only time that he overruled the production team during the 2005 series. According to the DVD commentary for this episode, the music that is heard as the Dalek fleet is revealed includes a chorus singing "What is happening" in Hebrew.
Oh,
That's a fun
I remember.
fact.
Yes, I remember that little song. Yeah. Okay.
So there you go. Oh, and actually, speaking of which, Nisha Nayar, the actress cast as the female programmer in this episode, previously appeared as one of the uncredited Reg Kang extras in the 1987 classic series story Paradise Towers. This made her the second actor to appear in both the classic and new series of Doctor Who, following William Thomas's appearance in the previous episode Boomtown. There you go.
And then probably Elizabeth Sladen in the second series of Doctor Who, as Sarah Jane Smith.
Correct, yeah. So that was Boomtown, and obviously the final ever episode was
parting of the ways.
Absolutely. And this was, of course, important because who did we see for the first time in this episode?
David Tennant.
David, big, beautiful bastard Tennant.
Looking as young as he's ever been. Do you remember how young he looks in this episode? It's mad.
Oh my god, yeah, he
Yeah.
looks like a child. It's crazy.
Mm.
Apparently, as well, this is the first of the Doctor Who episodes where no preview tape was made available. So this was the first of the secret episodes that were put out there as well.
I think I'm right inside. The production team were a little bit blindsided by the fact that Christopher Eccleston didn't sign on for a second series. So David Tennant had impressed in Casanova, I think, which was written by Russell T Davies, and then they were like, "Well, this guy's going to be the Doctor going forward."
And also, here's a fun fact as well. So, according to Russell T Davies and Doctor Who magazine at the time, Jack was left behind because they wanted to explore the effects of the regeneration on Rose, noting that Jack would have taken the regeneration in his stride. Jack returned in the spin-off series Torchwood, which began broadcasting a year later in October 2006. So an alternate ending for this episode was written and filmed with the intention that it would be shown to press previewers to hide the secret of the regeneration. The false ending would have featured similar dialogue to the televised final scene, but the TARDIS would have scanned Rose and the viewers would have seen the display read, life form dying. Davies considered this scene inferior to the one actually shown, but suggested it might be suitable as an extra on a DVD someday. On the DVD commentary, executive producer Julie Gardner and Billy Piper briefly discussed the ending, which Gardner describes as featuring Rose's death. Unlike David, Gardner expresses doubts that it will be issued on DVD. It was not included in the Series 1 DVD set. So that apparently is a bit of footage that the BBC are still sitting on that has never yet seen the light of day. So there's a bit of fun fact. And also, finally, we obviously see David Tennant at the end of this, and usually it's the case where you see one go and the other one come in. But again, because this was the early days of Doctor Who, his portion of the regeneration scene was actually filmed much later than Eccleston's, so months afterwards, and without the presence of Billy Piper. Tennant's segment was recorded with him speaking to a piece of sticky tape indicating Piper's eyeline and then edited into the broadcast version. It was recorded on the 21st of April, 2005.
Remember, because they also did a comic relief scene, which carries on directly from that regeneration. So they must have filmed that a little bit beforehand. Can I also say what I found really interesting about what you just said was Torchwood started broadcasting a year later.
Yeah.
So they must have been planning and in production of Torchwood really not long after this series. So they started this new series of Doctor Who, much like they're doing with the War Between Land and the Sea now, knowing that they've got spin-offs in mind.
Well, I was going to say, because we see the mention of Torchwood again, or Torchwood 1 at the end of Series 2, don't we? With the Cybermen and the Daleks.
We do. And Torchwood is the bad wolf of Series 2. So it's the running theme. That's very interesting.
So do you get the feeling then in that case that we might already have another series potentially in the pipeline alongside, because I don't think the War of the Land and the Sea is going to be as direct as we think it is. I think that is going to be something to expand the universe, but I think there's something else that's probably going on behind the scenes.
We've discussed this before, haven't we? We've discussed this before, because I just find the gap a little bit unusual if you're trying to build up the universe. Doesn't make sense for us to have to wait all the way till Christmas, but there we go. Anyway, we should wrap this up.
Thank you so much for watching and for listening. Again, you've joined us on a very unplanned and unexpected episode of Who Doesn't Have a Podcast. But we'll catch you next time. What have we got planned next time, Mike?
I might make us talk for 2 hours, but not record a single thing.
Yeah, that pretty much.
No. What we're going to do next time is, I don't know, actually, I haven't decided yet, but we will do another quiz and we will do a retrospective on Series 2 of Doctor Who is what we'll do.
Absolutely, sounds good to me. Well, in the other time, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please follow us at Who Doesn't Pod on all the socials: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Mainly just we're good on TikTok, really, aren't we? How many followers have we got on TikTok now? Feel free to join us on there. Yeah, that's probably our main platform. But yeah, follow us on all the socials, and we'll see you very soon for the next episode of Who Doesn't Have a Podcast. Say goodbye, Mike.
Bye, everyone.
And as long as this is recording, goodbye. Otherwise, I'll see you in 5 seconds.
If you like this YouTube video, please consider liking,
Sharing
and subscribing.